Welcome to my channel, where we carefully explore the noble prophetic traditions and reflect on the recitation of the Holy Quran. Join us on a journey to seek wisdom and inspiration from the words of Allah and the teachings of our Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon. Support us with a like, subscribe to the channel. In the name of Allah, the entirely merciful, the especially merciful. Until he reached 30 years of age, Muhammad was almost a stranger to the outside world. Since the death of his grandfather, authority in Mecca was divided among the 10 senators who constituted the governing body of the Arabian Commonwealth. There was no such accord among them as to ensure the safety of individual rights and property. Though family relations afforded some degree of protection to citizens, yet strangers were frequently exposed to persecution and oppression. In many cases, they were robbed, not only of their goods, but even of their wives and daughters. At the instigation of the faithful Muhammad, an old league called the Federation of Fudul, i.e., favors, was revived with the object of repressing lawlessness and defending every weak individual, whether Meccan or stranger, free or slave, against any wrong or oppression to which he might be the victim within the territories of Mecca. When Muhammad reached 35 years, he settled by his judgment a grave dispute which threatened to plunge the whole of Arabia into a fresh series of her oft-recurring wars. In rebuilding the sacred house of the Kaaba in AD 605, the question arose as to who should have the honor of raising the black stone, the most holy relic of that house, into its proper place. Each tribe claimed that honor. The senior citizen advised the disputants to accept for their arbitrator the first man to enter from a certain gate. The proposal was agreed upon, and the first man who entered the gate was Muhammad al-Amin. His advice satisfied all the contending parties. He ordered the stone to be placed on a piece of cloth, and each tribe to share the honor of lifting it up by taking hold of a part of the cloth. The stone was thus deposited in its place, and the rebuilding of the house was completed without further interruption. It is related that, about this time, a certain Usman ibn Huwayrith, supported by Byzantine gold, made an attempt to convert the territory of Hijaz into a Roman dependency, but the attempt failed, chiefly through the instrumentality of Muhammad. These are nearly all the public acts related by historians in which Muhammad took part in the first 15 years of his marriage to Khadijah. As for his private life, he is described to have been ever helpful to the needy and the helpless. His uncle Abu Talib had fallen into distress through his endeavors to maintain the old position of his family. Muhammad, being rather rich at this time by his alliance with Khadijah, tried to discharge part of the debt of gratitude and obligation which he owed to his uncle by undertaking the bringing up and education of his son, Ali. A year later, he adopted Aqil, another of his uncle's sons. Khadijah bore Muhammad 3 sons and 4 daughters. All the males died in childhood, but in loving Ali he found much consolation. About this time, Muhammad set a good example of kindness, which created a salutary effect upon his people. His wife Khadijah had made him a present of a young slave named Zayd ibn Haritha, who had been brought as a captive to Mecca and sold to Khadijah. When Haritha heard that Muhammad possessed Zayd, he came to Mecca and offered a large sum for his ransom. Whereupon Muhammad said, "Let Zayd come here, and if he chooses to go with you, take him without ransom. But if it be his choice to stay with me, why should he not keep him?" Zayd, being brought into Muhammad's presence, declared that he would stay with his master, who treated him as if he was his only son. Muhammad no sooner heard this than he took Zayd by the hand and led him to the black stone of Kaaba, where he publicly adopted him as his son, to which the father acquiesced and returned home well satisfied. Henceforward Zayd was called the son of Muhammad.